Hey there, I'm meteorologist Lily Aldrich, and welcome back to the 10 Weather Impact Show, where we detail out everything you need to know weather-wise going on here in Central Ohio, as well as all over the nation and world. For right now, we're looking at Central Ohio forecast, and let's detail a little bit out about what we saw over the last 24 hours and past 7 days here in Central Ohio, rather. The total rainfall we've seen over this past week has been extremely notable, seeing around 9 inches, around 11, close to 12 inches rather, in parts of Indiana, and closer to here over with us here in Central Ohio, seeing up to 4 inches in Columbus, 9 close to Crooksville. This is a general estimate of around the past 7 days of how much rainfall we've seen, and thankfully today is looking significantly drier. Well, you should expect going into later today, cloudy, but we're dry. It's still looking pretty hazy outside, as you see across Central Ohio, as well as the possibility of seeing some pop-up showers late this afternoon, early Saturday. The next thing we're really looking at is a chance of seeing some storms come in Saturday evening. Live radar right now looking nice and clear. We do have some couple sprinkles in the area, but for the most part, it's pretty quiet and dry, and it'll stay that way for the rest of the evening. 77 right now, lots of cloudiness out there. We are pretty humid as well, but radar is still looking pretty nice. We do have some spotty showers as well getting into the rest of the evening. Looking nice and humid, but we're dry. We'll have a little bit of sunshine later this evening. Clouds continue to build in with highs right around the low 80s. Looking ahead towards the rest of the evening, that cloudiness continues, but we do have a chance of seeing maybe a pop-up shower or two. Nothing that's really going to impact the rest of your Friday plans. 60s tonight, but we do have a chance of seeing some showers and storms building into your forecast for tomorrow. Here's the big picture, everything we're looking at right now. Severe Prediction Center put us under a level 1 out of 5 risk, isolated severe risk. We're just keeping an eye on the possibility of having some rumbles of thunder overnight tonight into tomorrow. But tomorrow comes the next big picture. You see this yellow block right here. That's that level 2 out of 5 risk of the possibility of having some scattered, possibly severe storms roll in. Mainly going to be for damaging winds and the possibility of seeing more flooding, especially with all the heavier rainfall we've seen over the past week. So looking ahead towards Sunday as well, we're just under that level 1 risk as well. For the most part, Saturday is what we're really focusing on for your weekend plans. You'll stay mostly dry. We do have a chance of seeing those pop-up scattered showers late this evening, just a pop-up here and there. Nothing really that's going to impact the rest of your Friday plans. By the time we get into Saturday, mostly clear during the day, and then isolated showers start building back in your forecast around 2-3 o'clock. Late Saturday evening is really what we're keeping an eye on. You see this system that starts to push in from the west. That's what we're really wanting to emphasize for you right here. This is around 11 o'clock. Not saying this will come in right around 11. This is just one model showing you, hey, we have the possibility of having some possibly stronger storms roll in Saturday evening. By the time we get into early Sunday morning, 7-8 o'clock, that looks to be mostly out of here, but you will have a chance of seeing some lingering showers right behind it. But for the most part, Sunday is looking mostly dry with a chance of a couple isolated showers until late Sunday evening, where we do have another chance of seeing some rain. Rain chances continue Saturday evening. That's where that 40% comes back in. That will carry back into Sunday, especially in the early morning hours, and then again late Sunday evening. By the time we get into Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday, the beginning of the work week, looking mostly dry. We'll have that chance of getting back into that regular August pattern that we like to see around here. Humidity looking quite nice, especially as we get later into next week. By the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, we're still in that uncomfortable range. You step outside, it's going to be muggy, especially with the rain that we're going to be seeing over the weekend. But by the time we get into Monday, Tuesday, look at that big drop. It's going to feel really nice, especially by the time we get into Thursday and Friday of next week. Definitely looking forward to that. Here's your 7-day forecast. Low 80s today, around 82 for your high. By the time we get into later in the evening, we have that chance of seeing a pop-up shower or two, but the next big rainmaker really comes in on Saturday. 85 degrees for your high. It'll feel nice tomorrow morning, especially with lows in the 60s, and that rain chance builds into Sunday morning, and then we have another chance of rain Sunday evening. Monday through the rest of the weekend's looking pretty, or rest of your work week rather, looking a little bit better with highs in the low 80s and some drier conditions. It looks a little bit more like what we normally see around here in August. But as we continue the storm recovery process today, here in Franklin County remains under a state of emergency. Last night, Governor Mike DeWine made the declaration because of flooding potential. And here's what he had to say on the emergency.
If you are in a low-lying area, if you're in a flood-prone area, you should take all means of notification with you to bed. Make sure you can have the TV on. radio, all cell phones. If you have a weather radio, that on, and just really be alert.
This comes as more rain is expected in the coming days. This also comes as we're waiting for more details about at least one confirmed tornado to have hit Franklin County. The National Weather Service now confirming an EF1 tornado touchdown on the south side. You're looking right now here at drone video of Marion Road and Fairwood Avenue, rather one of our camera crews, but this is one of the places that the National Weather Service teams surveyed to make their determination of Tuesday's storm. 10 TV talked to one woman living in the south side who was home with her boyfriend and 7 kids when that storm hit.
My one son has cuts, bruises, and a log went flying through the bedroom window, cracked him in the head. And then my 4-year-old almost got swished by a wall. That my daughter's friend was at our house and got him out of all the debris.
Other people living in South Columbus are now using their cars to stay cool and charge their phones as they wait for the power to start coming back on. Meanwhile, in Upper Arlington, the National Weather Service says straight-line winds are responsible for this damage in the city on Tuesday. Those winds reached between 90 and 100 miles per hour. The storms forced Upper Arlington schools to push back the start of the school year until this upcoming Monday. The district also says that crews have identified potential structural problems with the stadium bleachers at the high school. That means no spectators will be allowed inside the stadium tonight for the high school's football scrimmage against Bishop Watterson. Well, when it comes back to that school plan, here's the new schedule of what we're seeing. Grades 1 through 5, 6, and 9 will begin this upcoming Monday. And then on Tuesday, school is in session for grades 1 through 12, and then kindergarten will start this upcoming Wednesday. Today, we're getting an idea of how Columbus Recreation and Parks facilities are doing after Tuesday's storms. Organizers with the Ohio Firefighters softball tournament say they got the go-ahead to play tomorrow at Berliner Park. You can see in this drone video the power lines came down as strong winds and rain swept through the area. This is just some of the significant damage we saw over on the south side. And as we reported, the National Weather Service, or NWS, says an EF1 tornado touched down in South Columbus on Tuesday. NWS says one of the areas surveyed was Barrack Park, and the Barrack community is closed right now. Columbus Recreation and Parks shared these photos, and you can see parts of the roof that got torn off. Right now, it's still unclear whether the center will be able to reopen. The storms are also affecting the ability to enjoy the rest of summer vacation with a splash. Both the Tuttle and Lincoln pools are closed until further notice. Lincoln was already set to close for the season this upcoming Sunday, but we'll let you know if they reopen or if plans otherwise change in light of this week's storms. For other Columbus Recs and Park sites, Busch Sports Park pickleball courts are closed until further notice. The Whetstone Community Center is also closed today, and the Barrack Community Center is closed until further notice because of that storm damage. That's in the pictures you all see here. Other community centers are open from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. And as we continue to clean up from these storms, here's a live look at where power outages stand right now in Franklin County. More than 5,000 people are still without power this afternoon. AEP's website shows a worst-case estimate restoration time of around noon on Sunday. While we continue to clean up from the wind and tornado damage, to the south it's flood cleanup, and that is the front and center. Parts of Perry and Muskegon counties got inches of rain earlier this week. Many can't live in their homes because of the damage. Emily Johnson no longer has a front porch after floodwaters ripped it from her in front of her home and sent it across the yard with more rain moving in. Neighbors tell us they're worried about the damage.
The refrigerator, the drawers are full. So I know we're not going to be able to salvage any of that stuff. I just think it takes a while for it to absorb because pictures, memories, things that you can't get back.
Emily says she is grateful for at least having a safe place to stay with her family out of state. Some reminders now as the risk for flooding continues in parts of central Ohio. You should never go in floodwaters. In fact, be aware of potential dangers lurking in there. The Ohio Department of Health says those waters can contain downed power lines, toxic chemicals, and even wild animals like snakes and rodents. Never swim, wade, or walk in floodwaters if you come up to them while driving. Turn around and do not drown. It's also important to be cautious when driving in the rain. The Ohio State Highway Patrol says you should always check your tire tread before heading out. Also, keep those headlights and wipers on and keep a lot of distance between you and other drivers. And of course, as a rule of thumb, always slow down as much as you can. Earlier in the week, Governor DeWine also declared a state of emergency for Perry counties, where Crooksville and Roseville and New Lexington are located. 10 TV's Amy Steigerwald is in Crooksville this afternoon and has the latest of ongoing donation efforts for those impacted by recent floods.
We're going to have a bunch more coming, I know, because I've gotten calls yesterday.
In Crooksville, Superintendent Kevin Smith is preparing for a different start to the school year.
Our focus has definitely changed. I mean, our focus is going to be making sure we know where our kids are, that they're safe, that they have what they need. The first days of school is just going to be kind of a head count and who's here and who we're missing and who we need to make sure we reach out and make contact with so we have everyone accounted for.
Smith says roughly 24 families have reached out to the district for help this week. He expects that number to rise going into the weekend, as this devastation is not something anyone was prepared for.
Not a devastation like this. We've had some other things happen in the community that we rallied around and supported one another, but this is definitely the most traumatic.
Friday's donation drive came together in less than 48 hours. Staff and community members, along with students and school athletes, all showed up. They collected clothes, toiletries, school supplies, and other necessities families might have lost to rushing waters. Many volunteers have friends or fellow classmates who were impacted by the storm.
I went to bed and I woke up and then everything's underwater. It was kind of crazy. Like, we love helping our community and stuff like that, so it was really nothing to think about.
School starts next Thursday for students across the Crooksville School District.
Thanks, Amy. If you're looking to help people in Perry County impacted by this week's major flooding, here's what you need to know. The district is accepting donations until 3 this afternoon at the junior-senior high school. The district also says it's having trouble locating their students. If you have a student and have been displaced by the storms, you're asked to call the district office. The number is there on your screen. You can also call if you need any supplies or support. And as Central Ohio recovers from serious storm damage, there's another way you can help your neighbors in a time of need. Tim TV is teaming up with the American Red Cross, 97.1 The Fan, and Chick-fil-A to help save lives. There is a give-in blood drive next Wednesday, August 19th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Columbus Airport Marriott. To sign up, just text the word GIVE to 614-460-3345 to register. Your donation can make a difference and save lives. And another reminder this afternoon, if you need help after these storms, there's an Ohio Severe Weather Cleanup Hotline. You can call the number on your screen, 740-207-2397, to get help with trees, debris, and tarps. The hotline will help you find volunteers from local relief organizations and community groups. The services are free, just not necessarily guaranteed because of high demand. If you need help with social services like food, clothing, or shelter, reach out to the Red Cross. There are 2 temporary shelters set up at the Scioto Southland Rec Center in Columbus and the Perry County Fairgrounds in New Lexington. And of course, 10 TV is staying on top of this weather alert, bringing you the impacts right here on air and online. Stay with us here on 10 TV, and we'll continue to have the latest updates throughout this long recovery process. It hasn't just been us here in Ohio dealing with the severe weather recently. In fact, the severe weather threat continues in other parts of the Midwest, already inundated by devastating floods as well. Since Tuesday, more than 11 inches of rain has fallen east of Indianapolis, Indiana. Some rivers in the state have risen so high that they've broken records set more than 100 years ago. CBS News' Ian Lee reports from hard-hit Anderson, Indiana.
Floodwaters sweep through neighborhoods around Indiana's White River after it rose to record-breaking levels. People in Anderson were ordered to evacuate after several feet of water covered streets and surrounded homes, many of them now unlivable.
I just rebuilt it.
You just rebuilt this 2 months ago?
Yeah, well, I've been working on it for about the last year, And then I got in a couple months ago, now it's destroyed.
Charlie Simmons has lived in central Indiana his whole life and says he's never seen flooding this bad.
I rode down and cried. Got all kinds of money in this place, man, and it's gone.
The muddy brown floodwater rushed over bridges and covered neighborhoods further up the river, rising over car roofs. The entire state of Indiana is now under a state of emergency.
Every state agency involved has been on alert since we watched it happening in real time.
Farther south, part of this campground caught fire late Wednesday as it flooded. First responders have rescued dozens of people across the region. This night vision video shows one family escaping their flooded home out of a second-floor window and jumping into a boat. In nearby Franklin County, swampy water now covers train tracks and streets.
This is nuts.
And for the second day in a row, several feet of water surrounds homes in Cambridge City. Soaked furniture and other belongings now sit in front yards.
It just crushed me. My kids' house is gone. It's going to take months to get it back together, probably.
It could take days before people get their power back, and the flooding could get worse for folks in this area. We're told the river will continue to spill over its banks until Sunday. Ian Lee, CBS News, Anderson, Indiana.
Finally today, let's check out some new video into us here at 10 TV. First up, sticking with the floods in Indiana. Following flooding at the beginning of the month and Wednesday's heavy rainfall, Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department released body cam video from August 1st showing officers wading into several feet of water to help stranded passengers and stuck vehicles. Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department posted to X Thursday that, quote, "In dangerous situations, police officers don't hesitate to step forward. They put their own safety on the line, going above and beyond the call of duty to protect, rescue, and help those in perilous situations. Their courage, compassion, and commitment remind us what true service looks like," end quote. That is dear to our hearts. And finally today, let's check out this video. Mount Etna continued to erupt overnight, sending balls of orange fire and huge plumes of smoke into the air. Rivers of orange lava flowed down the sides of the volcano, according to the Italian news agency ANSA. Some 700 flights have been canceled since August 8th, when powerful eruptions from Mount Etna shot ash into the air, making it dangerous for planes to enter the airspace. Hundreds of people have been stuck at the airport trying to find other ways to get to their destinations. Many now are relying on buses. The eruptions show no sign of slowing, with Mount Etna being the largest active hurricane or volcano in Europe. Let's take one final look here in central Ohio at our last forecast with your 7-day. Right now, we're looking at temperatures right around the low 80s for your high, looking like the possibility of having some isolated showers late this evening. But getting into tomorrow, that's our next big focus, where we're seeing the chances of having some heavier rain build into Saturday evening. Highs in the mid-80s, increasing by the time we get into Sunday, where we have another chance of seeing some scattered showers and storms. Well, that's it for your weather update here on 10 TV. Coming up later tonight, Chief Meteorologist Chris Tomer is in and giving you the full forecast update for the rest of the evening. Until then, you can catch more news and weather online at 10tv.com. Have a great afternoon.